Hey everyone, another video coming along here with the goal of helping explain how to calculate your pay stub earnings for LTO teachers. In order to do that, you need to know where you land on the grid, and there's a few ways you can find that out. The first is to take a look at your pay stub under message in the bottom right corner of your pay stub. And it should say something like category A3, step 2 with a certain number of days of experience. You may also have that information included on your employment letter from the board. Once you know your grid placement, it should be a number in the tens of thousands. You're going to divide that number by 194 days to get your daily rate. Once you have your daily rate, you multiply that by the number of days in your pay period, which is usually 10, but it may be less if there's a holiday. And then you're going to compare that number to what you've earned on your pay stub. It should be sort of on the top left-hand corner of the chart that says regular salary current. Now, you may not have an idea of where you are on the grid, and you may not be able to locate specifically where you are on where your employment letter is, which is fine. This is how you calculate how much you should be earning over the course of a year based on your grid placement. You're going to take a look at your pay stub, right? And this grid, you can pause the video as you wish and do this calculation on your own. I'm using an example where someone might be at category A3, step 2, but they have 90 days of experience. And so that person will be somewhere between step 2 and step 3. How do you calculate exactly where they are? Well, we're going to use a fraction. And so 90 days out of 194 days in a school year represents the fraction of a step that they will be credited when calculating their grid placement. Given that this person is at step 2, we take a look at step 2. Given that they've got 90 days working towards step 3, we would take a look at where step 3 is. We subtract the difference or subtract the step 2 from step 3 to get the difference of $3,400, multiply it by the fraction of 90 days out of 194 days in the school year to get this about 1582. That would be added to the step 2 grid cell at A3 to get a total of $61,743.96. This is how someone who is at this particular level of experience would have their grid salary calculated. You'll notice that this number does not exist on the grid. It's a calculation. Once you have that number, you would take that and divide by 194 days to find out your daily rate. And that daily rate for this individual would be about $318 per day. If there are 10 days within a 2-week pay period, that individual would earn somewhere around $31.82. If there are only 9 days because there's a holiday, then again, that would be adjusted down by 1 day's worth of pay. If you have a partial contract, then your daily rate would be prorated, which just means that it would be multiplied by your daily FTE, which is what would be considered a full-time equivalent. So if you have an 80% contract, your FTE is 0.8. Using the above example, person with that particular experience would have a daily rate here, and it would be multiplied by 0.8 to get about $255 per day for the duration of their 80% LTO. Other things to consider. If you have a partial contract, it may be in elementary school, you're working every day, but only 3 days per week. That would be equivalent to a 60% contract or a 0.6 FTE. That might be different than someone who's working 60% per day every single day. And the way that might be different is if someone is scheduled to be off on a Monday and there's a holiday, their pay won't be affected. They'll still earn that 60% biweekly income. If someone is scheduled to work part of a day on a holiday, then they would lose that income for that 2-week pay period. And that would have an impact on what you see on your pay stub compared to someone else with an equivalent contract who has their daily routine scheduled slightly differently. If your LTO is in secondary, are you working for a full semester? Is it spread over a whole year? How many sections are you teaching? That might have an impact on what your FTE is determined to be. And if you are supplementing your daily occasional work, your LTO work with daily occasional work, then it may be that a part of your day is on grid and a part of your day is on using the daily OT rate. As always, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. We're happy to explain. Have a great day.